Okay, now it's working. It's May 7th, 2014, and we're talking to Ernest Langford on a ship called the Grand Princess, and we've been cruising from San Francisco, California, to the Hawaiian Islands, and then we'll get off the ship on May 13th back in San Francisco. We're going to talk to Ernie about the Navy and his World War II experiences. And Ernie was born July 21st, 1925. So first of all, how old were you? How old were you when you joined the Navy? I think you told me it was the day before your birthday.
Yeah. Day before I turned 18.
So you joined the Navy so you wouldn't be drafted.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to go in the Navy and not the Army.
It was the lesser of two evils.
Right.
Okay. So how did they choose you for what you were doing? Did you take testing?
Yeah, they gave us testing in boot camp. And I was kind of surprised that they picked this one because I didn't know anything about electricity, and that part of the test I just jumped over. And the only thing I can figure out is I had remembered Ohm's law from
High school?
from high school.
That's probably important to know.
Yeah. I guess they figured they could train me the rest.
So after you joined the Navy, how long did you have before you had to report?
I reported immediately to Farragut, Idaho, for boot camp.
And how many weeks do you remember?
Oh, like 8 weeks comes to my name, but I think it was probably longer than that.
Okay, that makes sense. Now I haven't heard of Farragut.
Farragut?
Farragut.
It's up in northern Idaho on the Lake Ponderay, which is a long, big freshwater lake.
Okay, did they work you pretty hard, or did you have any spare time?
I can't think that it was very physical.
Okay. Did they let you go to church?
Yes, they had church there.
How did you get to California?
Well, first, after boot camp, they allowed you to go home for 2 weeks. But from there, I had to go to Chicago, Illinois, for pre-radio.
Oh, that's right.
And this started my electronic training. And from Chicago, we went to Clarksville, Arkansas. Navy had taken over a teacher's college, and that's where they had us
Trained. And then you spent some time in Washington, D.C. also?
Yeah, after being 3 months in Arkansas, I went to secondary in Washington, D.C., the Naval Research Laboratories in D.C.
So all of your training took about how long?
Well, let's see, pretty close to a year.
Okay. Okay, now you can tell me, how did you get to California, or did you get another stop on leave to Utah?
I had another leave. I got to go home, and I left from there and went to Treasure Island. They had the same training in Treasure Island as I had in Washington, D.C., but I was there waiting for a ship for assignment.
And you said you had so much free time that what did you do with your free time? You got a job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They were making ships in San Francisco, and I had quite a bit of spare time, so I figured, well, why don't you just go to work? So I went and to help with building of these boats. And the job they gave me was putting the ballast in the bottom of the boat. These are big chunks of concrete.
How did you lift the ballast?
I can't remember how it was, but if it was physical, they must not have weighed over 100 pounds.
Okay.
But I don't remember anything raising them with any equipment, so it must have been muscle.
Maybe so. Tell me a little bit about Treasure Island. You were saying you remember it being pretty flat.
Yes, they had what do you call it? World's Fair.
Oh, the expo, or?
Yeah, they had a World's Fair on that island. I don't remember the year for it, but it was before I was there. And a lot of the buildings were still intact.
Tell me about your first flight to Honolulu.
Okay, we left at San Francisco on a Navy plane. It was a flying boat, and it was real flush. The seats in it were just as soft. It was built, I'm sure, for admirals or high officials in the Navy. We got out over
Golden Gate?
the Golden Gate Bridge. One of the motors conked out, so they had to turn around and come back. They only had two motors, and we were flying to Pearl Harbor. That's a long ways, and we then embarked to across the bay to Oakland, and they got another plane ready for us, and we took off on that. And this was a plane that landed on land, so here we were flying over the ocean. It took us 12 hours.
Was this a cargo plane?
No, it was a passenger.
Do you remember the number? It was
DC-3 comes to mind.
Okay, a DC-3 possibly. So it was a long flight.
12 hours.
And you didn't have flight attendants?
Nope. We landed at Hickam Field in Pearl Harbor 12 hours after we took off.
Wow.
And when we got off the plane, there was just a little slight rain, and it just felt so wonderful, nice and warm.
Good. Now, in Honolulu, you're waiting for a ship. Did you have to wait long, and did you share a room or a barracks?
No, No, actually I was on a ship that they were repairing. And we were assigned immediately to the USS Anaya, which was a converted Liberty ship. The only armament it has was a 5-inch cannon on the back end, on the fantail. As far as I know, they never did fire it.
Well, when did you end up in the Royal Hawaiian? Just for a night?
Well, I didn't at all.
Okay.
No. Royal Hawaiian was taken over by the Navy, but I was never involved in it.
Oh, you never personally got a
No.
room there?
No, I stayed on the ship.
Okay. Well, good for you. Okay, just a minute, I'll get more questions. Sorry. Okay. Now, Jim was younger than you, so he joined the Navy a while later.
About a year and a half later.
So did you ever serve with Jim, or just some spare time together?
Well, when I came back from Okinawa, I was on a destroyer, and we landed in San Diego, and Jim was hospital corpsman there in the hospital, so we had our weekends together.
Wonderful.
I don't remember how, but it seems like it was quite a while.
So that photo of you and Jim in the bar pretending to be drinking was in San Diego?
Right.
That's wonderful. So you were mentioning you were on Ground Zero in Japan a couple of months after the bomb,
Yes.
and that was Nagasaki?